Hi, good afternoon. I'm Nicole, and these are my esteemed colleagues from our international consultant firm, Agricultural Intelligence. It is our project proposal. In our project proposal, we seek to promote regenerative agriculture practices through cross-cultural collaboration. To start off, we wanted to present separate case studies of different types of farmers in both countries and how they would potentially benefit from the development of our project. The first is an average farmer in the US. He is 60 years old and a corn farmer who is concerned about the environment. He has acquired debt due to his farm, and that's why he has an interest in developing new technology to promote efficiency as well as maintaining healthy soil for generations to come. The second farmer is in China. He is also a corn farmer and 60 years old. He is developing a growing interest in the environment and specifically air pollution. He has concern over the increased demand for food as the population grows and fears for a possible new food shortage. To recap our project, we chose this topic to try and develop tools to help with the pressing challenges that arise in the face of climate change and the inevitable population increase. It is projected that the global population will reach around 9.8 billion by 2050. The amount of available farmland is decreasing, while the average age for a farmer is about 60 years old. We wanted to address the question, how can the US and China make agriculture more sustainable to combat climate change and meet growing population needs? In order to do this, we chose to focus on developing new technologies through collaboration between the US and China. We also plan to develop an informational app that would provide relevant information to farmers about current useful technologies, as well as guiding them in using regenerative agriculture techniques. It could also potentially track the soil nutrient profile to prevent the overuse of fertilizers. So why agriculture? To sum it up, everyone needs to eat. The population is increasing and at an unprecedented rate. With this, there is a heightened demand for food. There's also an estimated 60 years of topsoil left, which is essential in order to keep growing crops. Many farmers lack proper knowledge or incentives to justify maintaining soil quality over what they think will result in a higher crop yield. In the recent decades, technology has been advancing rapidly, much of which can be put to use in increasing yield efficiency and reducing the unwanted effects of over-fertilization. So what is regenerative agriculture? According to the Center for Regenerative Agriculture and Resilient Systems, regenerative agriculture is defined as an approach to farm and ranch management that aims to reverse climate change through practices that restore degraded soils. By rebuilding soil organic matter and soil biodiversity, we significantly increase the amount of carbon that can be drawn down from the atmosphere while greatly improving soil fertility and the water cycle. Now I'm going to pass it on to Zach.
Thank you. So what is the common challenge that both countries share? Simply put, agribusiness is not profitable in its current state. This causes a fear of going into debt or going into more debt, which stagnates developments and causes apprehension regarding new and unfamiliar technologies. This compounds with an aging, unsustainable workforce, as well as the effects of climate change and topsoil degradation, as Nicole mentioned before. This ultimately will lead to the destruction of farmland and increasing levels of emissions. Simply put, if not addressed, this could see the collapse of our farms that provide so much for us over the coming decades. So we can see how regenerative agriculture is a field that opens us up to a number of opportunities. And we believe that robotics is that next opportunity. Studies performed by the University of Minnesota demonstrate the potential of robotics in a number of fields, namely linking the implementation with economic benefits. For example, the use of robotics in agriculture is linked to increased productivity and reductions in food costs, increased GDP, and the export-import ratio, while also supplementing the local communities with jobs. Collaborative research between the two countries exists on a number of levels already. How can we incentivize the collaboration on this issue in a timely manner? One way of ensuring both countries have a tangible gain from engaging in this collaboration is by establishing an exclusivity agreement between the two countries, guaranteeing the rights to manufacture the product or products developed by this research stays between the two. This encourages collaboration by ensuring a return on investment, while possibly reducing the initial investment costs. This also serves a broader purpose, acting to diffuse the standing tensions between the US and China, and accomplishes goals put forth by the agreement we have already established in 2020. Going about the realization of this agreement, we can look to two distinct fronts: the federal level and support from the public. For the former, there's a number of avenues. First, the president could sign an executive order directing funds into stimulating this research directly. Alternatively, a contract similar to one drawn up by the SEC could be written and passed through both governments, facilitating an agreement there. Maybe a competition could be hosted to determine how best to facilitate research between the two parties. Finally, redirecting subsidy funds into a research fund could be a viable option, provided how much both countries utilize subsidy in agriculture. As we know, the public opinion drives a fair amount of political movement. The public could be involved through farmer driven government lobbying and increased media exposure to the impact of robotics in agriculture. Also, data gathered from real farmers could be collected and shown to fully realize the importance of this research. Agribusiness in its current state is not a profitable business. Many farmers are operating on a deficit, with around 41% of the 2.1 million farms in America relying on government subsidies just to stay afloat. This is a surefire way to garner support at the ground level and get the public interested in something that benefits us all. Now I'll pass it to Win.
Thank you. So the solution to solve this challenge will be an educational and a virtual operational application designed for farmers in both US and China. So why we use app as the first step of the solution? Because farmers lack of the relevant information and have some misunderstandings of new technologies. They think the advanced technique would bring them a great risk of finance. And they also have some fear of unknown field, and they more like to use familiar equipment as usual. And educational software can be designed for farmers in order to create a simple and convenient learning approach for them, and also help this problem to be solved to let regenerative agricultural technologies to gain more attractions. Next, please. So here's the overlook of the app. I will introduce them by different functions in detail. Next, please. The first function is about the real-time news, which can help farmers or users to have a better awareness of current situations or events of agricultural development, and also help them to have a clear understanding of availability of current subsidies, and also notice relevant information regarding government farming policies more faster. Next, please. The next function is about exploring technical context. So the app could link to specific sensor to gain data in real time of the farmland. Farmer can check the state of soil, irrigation, or crop growth anytime and anywhere, and also help farmers to improve the backward agricultural mode in a more faster or easier way, such as the farmer in China can use the function to monitor the growth status of his farmland through the app so as to make the crop grow better. Next, please. The next function is about education. Because of the farm across US and China are diverse, so the educational section can provide a more convenient channel for educating farmers by different individual needs. It also can associate with the research group on agricultural technologies, and also have some experts do Q&A sections to showing the great cooperation between two countries and achieve win-win result, and also can eliminate farmers' misunderstanding of their annual area, such as this function could allow the US farmers to search for information about agricultural technologies to eliminate their concern of the financial risk. Next, please. The next function is about VR operational experience. Below the image just shows an immersive operational experience in this function. It creates an intuitive way through the game experience to allow farmers or users to have a quickly understand the information they need for specific equipment. It also can reduce the loss caused by artificial operative errors. Next, please. The last function is about exploring the membership. To accommodate different needs, the software is divided to ordinary and VIP permission. The VIP member will have a unlimited access of tracking indicators and priority of posting questions and receiving answer more faster in Q&A, and also have the unlimited access of VR game operational experience. The system can obtain the corresponding equipment rental discount by achieving proficiency achievements, and the initial users will get some rewards when they're recommending other people to download the program in order to let the platform can reach widespread adoption. Now turn to Blake.
Thank you, Lynn. In terms of feasibility, farming is a heavily subsidized field. As we covered in the common challenges section, many farmers are in debt or they're focused on qualifying for government subsidies. And given the high level of US government funding, I believe the government needs to shift some of that funding towards research and subsidies that cover risk and encourage innovation. Comparing our government to the Chinese government has already begun a pilot program with a 7-year program ending in 2025, and they're focusing on automation such as driverless tractors. The US needs to follow their lead. We need to pursue this on an aggressive national level, and this research will only benefit through international cooperation. Next slide. Here's a quote from one of the companies in China who is beginning to work on this technology. Automated farming is the way ahead, and demand for it here is huge. Next slide. So we've been talking about advanced technology and new research, and I wanted to provide a concrete example of something that is being developed right now. This is Gus. It is an automated sprayer system used to irrigate crops in California. As you can see, when they advertise this to farmers, they're advertising it as a solution to labor challenges. It also increases efficiency and precision and safety. So this is something that farmers are beginning to realize, but they need support from the government. Next slide. The system tends to see ROI as soon as within 1 to 3 years. So this is something that can be extremely profitable. And a single farm laborer operating this equipment can do as much work as is done by 8 people.
Our solution will drive significant impact across 3 major categories. First, on the environmental side, regenerative agricultural technology allows farmers to produce their crops at significantly lower resources. Research has indicated that this number can be 10 to 30% less resources needed, and applying that number to the amount of greenhouse gas emissions in agriculture by the US and China, this could lead to 180 million tons of CO2 not emitted each year by implementing more ag tech technology. In terms of yields, regenerative agriculture technology has significant benefits as well. Recent research into Internet of Things sensors has indicated a 13% potential increase by using this technology. And finally, on the economic sides of things, Goldman Sachs has sized the agriculture technology market at $240 billion, or 1.5 trillion won. This is a significant economic opportunity for the US and China to pursue. However, before anything like this can move forward, there's a significant roadblock that must be addressed. And this is, of course, political tensions within academia. In recent years, there have been many highly publicized arrests of Chinese researchers in the US, a few of which we've highlighted here. And last May, the US government also restricted access of any Chinese scientists to the country that were affiliated with the CCP. This suspicion is based on the idea that Chinese scientists are stealing data or unfairly interacting with US researchers. And the National Institute of Health actually looked into this. Of the 50,000 researchers in the US from China, they only found 154 violations, a number that is so small it doesn't even show up on this graph. Clearly, current suspicions are unfounded. However, unfortunately, the effects of them are very real. Many Chinese researchers have reported that they are afraid to come to the US or partner with the US. They're afraid that if they come, they might get unfairly arrested and might not be able to go home. This is exactly what the dean of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology said in a recent interview. He was uncertain if he would come to the US in the future, and he didn't want his university's faculty coming either. Our research partnership cannot move forward without first addressing this concern. And to do so, we recommend farmer-driven lobbying, as we discussed earlier. Farmers have significant lobbying power in the US, and as agriculture technology helps them produce their crops at a higher yield and a lower cost, they will be incentivized to lobby the US government to encourage more research collaboration. In implementing our proposal, we first recommend Internet of Things sensors, or IoT sensors, as the first technology to be developed. IoT sensors are sensors that can be placed across farmers' field and they gather wide amounts of data. Some examples of the data that they can gather are climate monitoring and providing real-time weather insights on a level much farther than farmers can see today. Greenhouse automation, thus helping satisfy the labor shortage within farming today, and precision farming, which helps farmers only use the exact amount of resources they need. There are three major reasons we recommend this technology as the first one to start with. First, it's easily extensible. The sensors themselves are not actually technically complicated. It's mostly the platform that they're built on that provides the most value. This platform, or the app like we were talking about earlier, is easily extensible and more technology can be added upon it later. Secondly, IoT sensors are easily justifiable. 10 to 15% of US farms have already implemented them with very obvious benefits. And finally, it's a quickly growing technology with 20% year-over-year growth rate over the next 5 years. We believe this partnership can start right here at the University of Minnesota, because as we talked about earlier, the University of Minnesota is leading research on robotics and agriculture, and we also have many partnerships in China. One potential partner we could leverage is Tsinghua University. We'll have two key performance indicators through this project, crop yields and cost savings. And the targets we've assigned to them are based on benchmarks found in existing ag tech research. And finally, for the crop that we recommend producing first is corn, because corn is the most produced crop in the US and the second most produced crop in China. Therefore, the impact here is huge. Now, in terms of a timeline, we recommend ramping up the research collaboration right away this year. We think that the US and our Chinese partners can start looking for new ways that new technology could be developed or existing technologies can be combined. In 2022, we can start bringing in industry partners to develop this technology. John Deere is leading IoT sensor development in the US, and Alibaba Cloud is one of the largest cloud providers in the world and can help us host our platform or our app. In 2023, we can roll out the initial technology to initial farms and begin testing against our KPIs. And in 2024, we can expand the technology based on what we've learned and start developing new technology. By promoting research collaboration to develop more agriculture technology and developing an app to integrate with farmers, the US and China have a tremendous opportunity here to help save the environment, meet growing food demand, and tap into a $240 billion market, which will bring financial wellness to the citizens and farmers of the world. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and we're happy to take any questions now.